Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Pride. My name is Megan Vandertorn. I use both she and they pronouns, and I'm one of our Student Equity and Inclusion Program Directors, overseeing the LGBTQ+ Student Center and Gender Equity programs. Every June, we come together to celebrate the queer and trans community, our unique lived experiences, our stories, our resiliency, our joy, and the legacies of our activism, like at the Black Cat Tavern on New Year's Eve 1967 here in Los Angeles, and the Stonewall Inn in June 1969. We want to begin this Pride kickoff event by acknowledging that USC is on the traditional land of the Tongva people. For thousands of years, the Tongva people lived on this land and were considered the most powerful indigenous peoples to inhabit the Los Angeles basin. Along with the Tongva, we also recognize the Chumash, Kataviam, Serrano, Cahuilla, Juaneño, and Luiseño peoples for the land that USC occupies around Southern California. We pay respects to their elders, past and present. Please join us in a moment of silence to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us here today. Thank you. We hope you join us in uncovering such truths at any and all events in the future. This year's theme for Pride Month is All Out with Pride. At a time when rights, protections, access to healthcare, and access to community spaces for LGBTQ+ people are constantly under attack in the US, when our stories and our families are disappearing from public libraries and K-12 schools, when our youth are being denied agency to their names and to their bodies, we are here to boldly say that we will not be erased, that we will continue to live authentically with pride. We have a variety of speakers and performers who are going to share their stories, their reflections, their activism, and their pride with us this afternoon. To get us started, I am pleased to introduce USC President, Dr. Carol Folt.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our virtual kickoff of Pride Month at USC. All Out with Pride is this year's theme, and it's about embracing our authentic selves and encouraging others to do the same. A few months ago, transgender activist Amy Schneider visited USC. As many of you know, she's also a Jeopardy champion who became the winningest female in game show history. Her breadth of knowledge is remarkable. And Amy spoke on a panel about increasing visibility for the community. She said, and I quote her, "I will always be proud that I've done my little part to ease the path for future generations of trans people to live free, open, and happy lives." All Out with Pride is a slogan for this important month, and it's guiding us here at USC throughout the year. Amy's panel was hosted by an incredible interdisciplinary range of Trojans, including the Consortium for Gender, Sexuality, Race, and Public Culture, the Department of Gender and Sexuality Studies at USC, USC's Vision and Voices, and the USC Sidney Harmon Academy for Polymathic Study. This list alone shows us that LGBTQ+ visibility continues to be important to us and to grow across our campuses. As I think many of you realize, this was not always the way. We had to rely on trailblazers to bring us to where we are now. And I'd like to share an example. 30 years ago, 9 Trojans saw a need for support and a community that was sorely lacking at USC. They came together to form USC Lambda and our LGBTQ Alumni Association. May 1993, just 1 year later, Lambda had 65 members. And by the following year, that number grew to more than 200 members. And today, Lambda has thousands of alumni members, countless allies, and 24 active board members. Thank you to everyone. In April, I was so fortunate to help celebrate Lambda's 30th anniversary with a moving gala at the Grammy Museum. This year, Lambda surpassed its $25,000 fundraising goal for LGBTQ+ student resources and scholarships. Lambda already offers 11 annual student scholarships and has awarded more than $500,000 to more than 50 students. Real change like that takes people willing to work together. And so I'd like to share another example. Professor Alexandra Billings of our School of Dramatic Arts was honored at that Lambda Gala, and there she shared her truth. She spoke from the heart about the dangers of being silent and also spoke about the power of remaining visible. People of all ages, she said, need to see positive role models from the community living all out with pride. Make yourselves heard, she said. A week after the gala, she became the School of Dramatic Arts' first tenured transgender faculty member. So I am confident we're making progress, and congratulations also to Professor Billings. Also at the gala, I spoke about the One Archives at USC Libraries. It is the single largest collection of LGBTQ plus research in the world. I like to think of it as USC treasure that is being preserved for the world, and I urge you to visit the archives. This October, the foundation that supports the One Archives will host its first ever Queer Histories Festival, so stay tuned to attend that. Events like these bring our LGBTQ plus community front and center, and we're seeing some positive change out in the bigger world as well. Today in Congress, 13 members are openly gay, the most in history, and that includes Annenberg alum and the former mayor of Long Beach, Representative Robert Garcia. On screen, we're seeing more LGBTQ plus stories like Spoiler Alert. That's a movie based on the memoir by journalist and Annenberg alum Michael Asiello. And in our own community, Keck Medicine just launched a gender-affirming care program. And this year, for the first time, USC began to record the number of first-year applicants who choose to identify as non-binary. There is, of course, much more work to do. State legislators have introduced more than 400 anti-LGBTQ plus bills this year, which is a terrible record number. Schools are eliminating entire DEIB departments, and even drag queens are under attack for reading storybooks to school children. So while we celebrate our march forward, and we should celebrate that, we also must continue to remain vigilant and keep up the fight. I'd like to close by affirming USC's continued commitment to the LGBTQ plus community and to basic human rights for all. It's a part of our special mission, and it is unwavering. So with that, my hope is that you will continue to stay engaged, and I'm sure you will, and also enjoy yourselves during this very special month. Let's continue to fight on and go all out with pride together. Thank you.
Happy Pride Month, everyone. I am Mason, a swimmer on the USC men's swimming and diving team. As you all know, this year's theme is All Out with Pride, which is why I think it is important to give special attention to the little things that I love about my queerness and being queer in this world. Firstly, I'd like to share a passage from The Power of Now by spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle. In the quest for enlightenment, is being gay a help or a hindrance? As you approach adulthood, uncertainty about your sexuality, followed by the realization that you are different from others, may force you to disidentify from socially conditioned patterns and norms. This will automatically raise your level of consciousness above that of the unconscious majority, whose members unquestionably take on board all inherited patterns. In that respect, being gay can be help because being an outsider to some extent, someone who does not fit in with others, is rejected by them for whatever reason, makes life difficult, but also places you at an advantage as far as enlightenment is concerned. It takes you out of the unconsciousness almost by force." End quote. In particular, this is a distinct and unique aspect about the queerness and queer and trans community that I adore. Each individual embraces the world and exposes it to the rawness of their true character, regardless of the resistance that it may face. In areas around the world, queerness is consistently met with bulwarks and obstacles, but our community has without fail risen to fight these challenges every single time, with our struggle ongoing and indefinite. This bravery, courage, and this community's ability to champion everyone's differences gives me beautiful optimism of our human potential and fuels the burning rage I have against anyone who threatens it. There is no question that the LGBTQ plus community is being systematically attacked in the United States. This is especially dire for those in the trans community, in which monstrous bills are being passed widespread that legalize violence towards this community and will most certainly be responsible for death. Care that is proven to reduce suicide by 73% is being stripped away. Kidnapping and displacement of trans kids is becoming legalized, and many other horrific bills are being passed that I encourage you all to read up and to keep up to date on. I say this in conjunction with my message not to scare, but to remind everyone, especially during the month of Pride, that the fight for the LGBTQ plus community is long from over. This venue of fascism must be met with extreme resistance, and we are going to need every single hand, limb, or whatever you can bring on deck from every single ally to put an end to this violence. Everyone with a bone of humanity in their body needs to be all out with pride, not just queer people. Love is the majority, and in strong, revolutionary solidarity from all compassionate individuals, we can build a bold future with bright colors and blossoming benevolence. I call on everyone hearing this to action, as silence is complicit. Thank you for listening, and happy Pride.
Hello, USC community. I'm Erica Hartman, the proud president of USC Lambda LGBTQ+ Alumni Association, and it is my enormous pleasure to wish you a very happy Pride Month. At Lambda, we wear our pride on our sleeve all year long, but Pride Month remains an important time to celebrate our intersectional identities and come together to build community and increase visibility, two of the most important tenets of Lambda's mission. Lambda was founded in 1992 by Donald Gabbard, an incredible advocate for LGBTQ+ rights who wanted to intentionally carve out a place of belonging at USC for students and alumni. And though LGBTQ+ rights have moved forward incrementally in the 30 years since Lambda was founded, the recent attack on our rights has again made for a very painful time in our history. But that is all the more reason we are all out with pride this year. We are not going to let anyone steal our joy, not now and not ever. We are here letting our community know you are seen, you are valued, you are celebrated, and there will always be a place of safety and belonging for you in the Trojan family. As a new student, I remember the belonging I felt in seeing the rainbow flags flying along Truesdale Parkway. And it was such a point of connection to hear Lambda's past president, Tom Henkenius, independently recount the same experience. USC had let us know that our identity was affirmed and that we belonged. To me, that is what Pride Month is about, celebrating our authentic selves and letting our LGBTQ+ community, whether out and visible or not, know that we are celebrating them too. And we are creating a space where we all belong. The more we have amplified our visibility at USC and the more we have created a safe space, the more our students and alums have courageously identified themselves and our community has grown. As President Volt mentioned, this past year, USC Lambda's board had a record 24 board members and a sold-out gala. And going into next year, we have already broken our record with 30 board members in total. With many opportunities to connect with Lambda all year round, we look forward to celebrating with you and continuing to grow our community. Happy Pride Month, everyone. And as always, fight on.
Hello everyone, my name is Hassan B. Marong. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm the former graduate assistant in the LGBTQ+ Student Center, and happy Pride Month. Today, I will be discussing the importance of creating queer community centered in joy and the work that I did in the Student Center and how I made that a reality. Upon my first few weeks working in the LGBTQ+ Student Center, my supervisor Megan showed me a document that was titled Special Data Report on Disparities in Wellbeing Amongst LGBTQ+ Students. And this was conducted by the USC Wellbeing Collective in 2020. This report not only piqued my interest as a graduate student studying student affairs, but also became foundational for me creating programs that unapologetically took an intersectional approach when creating queer community. Findings from this report that really interested me were the disparities of positive mental health with Black students and queer students from this study. As a student leader, I understand the importance of positive mental health and how it can impact students' sense of belonging at a university. These disparities really empowered me to spearhead the Club Renaissance series and the Renaissance Ball. First and foremost, I am a Beyonce fan, and her album Renaissance really celebrated so much of Black queer culture, and listening to that album brought me so much joy, and I wanted to embed that joy that I had from listening to that project into the events that I was curating for my job at the LGBTQ Student Center. The Club Renaissance series partnered with the USC Counseling and Mental Health Department to host a 3-part series for Black queer students, bringing them together through a lunch, a mental health workshop, and a study session at the end of the fall semester. The Renaissance Ball brought together the First Gen Student Center, the Late Night SC, residential education, and community partners in Reach LA to host USC's very first ball. This event highlighted queer ballroom culture and brought that to USC's campus, and students competed in different categories to celebrate their own individuality. These 2 events really helped me solidify my own career goals and passions and my trajectory that I want to have in higher education. And I really hope to continue to do this work as I move through my own career. And I hope that the rest of this month, the rest of this year, and the rest of your life, you are able to be empowered to create joy and community with the people around you and fight on.
Hello, everyone, and happy Pride Month. My name is Sarah, and I work at USC Student Health Promotion Strategy. This year's theme is All Out with Pride, and I want to spend some time talking about what being out means to me. As someone who came to accept their bisexuality in adulthood and has yet to share with everyone in their life, I have been on a journey to play a catch-up on all LGBTQ things. From cultural icons to jokes and references, there is still a lot that I have yet to learn. Sometimes I do worry that I'm not queer enough, or second guess how I express myself or what type of relationships I form with others. I know there is privilege and safety in being straight passing, but there are times I feel invalid and invisible, knowing that not everyone in my life will get to know my queerness. But I want all of us to remember that at its heart, queerness is about being authentic and embracing yourself. If you haven't found a way to show your queerness or feel like you can't share this part of you with your loved ones, remember that being a part of the LGBTQ+ community is about nurturing love in self and in community, and knowing that we are capable of continuous growth. This Pride Month and every month, I hope you are able to surround yourself with friends and community members that support you, as well as help you become your authentic self. I hope the next time you question your own queerness or struggle over the fact that not everyone is aware of your LGBTQ+ identity, I want you to remember what Vivek Shraya, a Canadian multimedia artist, has once said. I have done something harder. I have told myself. Happy Pride Month.
Hi, I'm Will Yeaman. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I just finished my freshman year here at USC. Now, a little bit of backstory. I'm a theater major, and I originally applied to the university because I was very intrigued by the performing arts department in the School of Dramatic Arts. But a huge part of who I am as not only a performer, but my identity is that I do drag. And when I found out that USC hosts its very own drag show through Kwasa, I was shocked because I never thought that I would be able to express myself through that art form of gender expression at my very own university. So this past January, I was in Kwasa's 13th annual drag show, and it was an amazing experience because I was able to connect with a community of drag performers, queens and kings, my age and around my age. I am very grateful to Kwasa for that opportunity, as well as the greater visibility it has given me and so many other student drag performers. And I look forward to continuing to involve myself in the student assembly, as well as wider LGBTQ life here at the university. Thank you.
office, send me them dishes. This flow is bitter delicious. Eat it up, it's nutritious. Feel like the pre-sun, y'all capricious. I like a Capricorn to the early morning, I'ma get it done expeditious. C, I'm a triple threat. Drip, 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 till I sweat. I'ma fuck your shit up with no regrets. I come correct. Matter of fact, I need you to break up with Tanner. He eat it up like Armie Hammer. When he sees some yeast, he think it's a beast, and that's the fraternity chatter. If I catch you tripping, skipping all my streams, you're going M-I-S-S-I-N-G. Don't try to run from me, I'm some Ollie, oxen free. I'ma cover up the crime, drop it down, get back on my climb. To my prime, no reason to rhyme. What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
Thank you to all of our speakers for sharing your stories as we kick off this year's Pride Month at USC. As someone who gets to sit in the middle of queer and trans life every day on campus at the LGBTQ+ Student Center, I'm constantly inspired by how vivacious and driven our community is to let our voices be heard. And for those of you who don't have the safety to be out during Pride or during any month of the year, you are no less valid. We are here, we are queer, we are powerful, and we will leave a legacy. Fight on.